warrior spirit is never broken.
If I must. It's your funeral.
Foolish child. I shall endure.
You reek of fear.
We're going.
Can you feel the pain? See the mess and trouble in your brain? Anger you retain, pressure rocks you like a hurricane. Is it time for you to jump into the next train? Change of hand, make a stand. I can see your heart change. Wake up, no more nap. Your turn is coming up. You feel lazy, but stop the fantasies.
Never look back.
You need to hear, go for it. I will teach you how to feel the things so close to you, connected all. Every day is a miracle. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss.
Playtime's over.
Don't think you're invisible. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Would you show your head? Would you text me from your rest bed? Running from the dead in the battle of cyber heads. You should think twice, cause they will make your brain melt. New device, better price, keep you feeling impressed. Stop it all, every day we'll live a miracle. Unpredictable, you don't need an upgrade anymore. Can't you see the link? Don't worry, I will teach you how to take the pill to feel the thrill and touch it all. Every day is a miracle. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss. Don't think you're invisible. Connect back with the people and all the people you miss.
Hello and welcome to Game 1 of UNM versus Wyoming Esports. I'm Elegant Cabbage, both the coach and the vice president of UNM Esports. I'm the coach of this League of Legends team. And I'm also the caster. So we're just going to go down team comps right here. On UNM's side, we have Brandos in the top lane, Flamebelt Guard on jungle, Robo in mid, Fallen Lotus in that bot position, and Magical Poop in support. On the other side of the map, electing red side, they have Shovel Fury, or as his team likes to call him, Shovel Furry, in the top lane, Witchell in jungle, Papa Francesco in the mid lane, and Palm Goat on bot lane, and then Mom Gank Please on Alistar. So in this draft, I'm just going to say this from the UNM position. Basically, we have been looking at what they've been doing all week long, and we were actually really surprised when they pulled out this Alistar, because last week against Air Force Academy, they played Ezreal Taric almost every single game. Witchell is a Fiddlesticks main, which is why you might have seen him insta-lock that so quickly. Shovel Fury is a Yorick main, which is why we took that out on the second ban. In the mid lane, we have Vel'Koz against LeBlanc. We somewhat picked into that, knowing that Papa Francesco's most played are Anivia, Lissandra, and Ziggs, and then after that, he doesn't actually have any other played in the Mountain West series. His next most played in solo queue is the Ahri, so that's why we took that one out. In the matchups going into this game, in the top lane, it's most likely just going to become a farm fest, with the Vladimir into Urgot becoming somewhat trading as it gets farther into the game. But as long as no one royally messes up anything, that should be a pretty even lane. In the mid lane, the Vel'Koz is going to have probably lane priority for most of the game, but the LeBlanc is going to try and have kill pressure onto that Vel'Koz, as Vel'Koz is extremely squishy, and LeBlanc can just jump in and kill anyone with low HP pretty easily. Because of this, we did pick the Tahm Kench, and as we saw, they actually counterpicked us in the support position. This is because we had picked the mid lane in the first round, and so the only thing left for them that was the correct move for how it was in the game. Alistar being actually pretty adept into Tahm Kench. What you want to do in that lane as Alistar is to go onto the Tahm Kench, because if you go onto the Jinx, the Tahm just uses his Devour and runs away. In the bot lane, most likely, this is going to be a pretty even lane for both sides. What both sides are looking at is to just get out of the laning phase going even, and then try and get into the mid and late game and be able to do more damage than the other. With the front line that Zach has on the UNM side, Jinx is in a little bit better of a position than the Ezreal, but at the same time, if we look at the Wyoming Esports side, they're not actually looking for hard engages outside of possibly Alistar or a Fiddlesticks ult. Hold on, let me just fix that. So basically, most likely, Wyoming is going to be looking for just poking out and then trying to get a good engage. We're not really sure how this Fiddlesticks is going to work out, and I'm pretty excited for watching this Fiddlesticks play, because I don't actually know when the last time Fiddlesticks was played in a competitive setting. Generally, he's more of a solo queue pick just because of he doesn't actually provide very much for the team besides of his ult, whereas a pick like Zach is able to gank better and just tank better for this side that he's on, whereas Fiddlesticks is much more of a carry potential, which you don't often see in this scenario. Interesting 5-man start that we actually have right here on the side of University of New Mexico. The standard one is what University of Wyoming is doing right now. As you can see, LeBlanc is in the mid lane. Top is in this top bush right here in river. Jungle is right here, blocking this. What's really interesting is this pink ward, actually. I've never seen that done. Usually you don't buy a pink ward this early into the game because it'll just get cleared and it's not a particularly large amount of vision that you're going to be getting for it. Whereas you could be getting something better like an extra potion or 2 extra potions in most cases. So as we can see, Fiddlesticks is actually starting with only 1 red pot because he took that pink ward level 1, which is a super interesting adaptation, but he also took it very defensively. But what that ward is actually going to do for the side of Wyoming is it going to tell them immediately if UNM Esports wants to start vertical jungling, which in this situation, they know that they aren't because UNM Esports was late to lane in this bot lane, meaning that this bot lane actually leashed for the Zac, and that would mean that they're going to also, if they wanted to vertical jungle, it's basically impossible because both teams started on the bot side of the map. I'm not entirely certain actually why they used that pink ward, thinking about it a little bit more. Level 2's gotten by the University of Wyoming, and it looks like they could have gone for a headbutt pulverize from the Alistar onto either the Tahm Kench or the Jinx, but they decided to hold off on doing that for right now. Now with level 2's on both sides in this bot lane, it's probably just going to become a farm it out and hope not to get poked down too much by the Ezreal. But going back to the jungle, and is more specifically that ward, it's weird because Zac most likely every time is going to be starting on his red buff, just because, oh, and it looks like the Alistar is going in, and yep, there's just the Devour by the Tahm Kench. Fallen Lotus is able to actually get a pretty good amount of damage down onto this Ezreal. Ezreal flashing, Alistar also flashing, Zac's here getting his E, jump onto the Mom gank please, and it looks like the nothing is going to come out of this. 2 flashes burned and the heal from Ezreal for just the ignite on the side of Magic Boot. That was actually such a good early gank by the Zac. Unfortunately, it looks like Zac's going to try and look at the top side of the enemy team's jungle, and while that gank was happening, Fiddlesticks should be able to get the blue on UNM's side. But that also, this is going to be an extremely good lane for the bot side, seeing as Alistar no longer has flash in the next 5 minutes, they can play super more defensively. So I think all in all, this is a good trade of basically it's going to be 1 camp, possibly blue and Gromp, for pretty much all sums on the bot side, which as a coach I'm perfectly happy with. As we go to the mid lane right here, what directed camera is trying to get us, it looks like LeBlanc is actually at a minion deficit right now, but is a little bit higher in HP and resources just because it's LeBlanc and she can poke out. I didn't actually see if Fiddlesticks was able to get pulverized out of the bot lane here. They might actually be able to kill Mom gank please if they went a little bit more aggressive. But instead they decide to back off. But going back to that jungle, it looks like Fiddlesticks is actually 2 or 3 camps up because he got both the blue, I think the Grump, and the topside scuttle. Now I believe the topside scuttle was actually traded for the bottom side scuttle. Right here we see Fiddlesticks coming in onto Brandos on this Vladimir. Pretty good damage coming down. Fear, and we're into the pool. Brandos able to get out with the flash. Ooh, Shovel Fury actually flashes after him and is unable to get the kill. Such, I don't know if that flash was actually good because Brooks was at a pretty high HP right there and he definitely needed at least 2 auto attacks. It looks like he tried to, I believe that's his Q, I want to say Corrupting Flask, is the name of that ability on Urgot, and maybe if he landed that, he would have gotten the kill on Vladimir. But instead of just saying, okay, we traded, or we gave up the flash, or Vladimir has to give up the flash, that's the flash off of Urgot as well. I don't think that's worth it at all. So what I actually want to see from the side of UNM right now, or in the next 5 minutes, is for the Zac to go up and gank the Urgot. I believe that should be a pretty easy kill on the side of UNM with Urgot having no flash. Especially, I believe Urgot's going to have the push in this lane, and it should just be a pretty easy jump over the ball and kill the Urgot. And while Vladimir's gank assist isn't particularly high, if you're on a champion such as Zac, it's super high because Zac doesn't have the damage, but he has the CC that allows Vladimir to just put the DPS into his target. As we see, there's a couple of flashes, or a couple of pings going down onto the Infernal Dragon here. It looks like both teams are trying to get priority onto this. Right now, at about 6.5 minutes into the game, there's no real way for either team to get that right now. Fiddlesticks might be able to do that, but it's super risky. He's going to be going very low if he does, in fact, try and solo that. And with no team really having much priority on the bot side, it going generally even, it looks like Magical Boop's trying to get a pink ward down onto this dragon, but it should just be pretty quickly cleared out by Fiddlesticks and Alistar coming down to clear it out. But it's still here because they're getting... Okay, it looks like Alistar is taking it out, and they're just clearing out the scuttle before anyone can take that. Papa Francesco, his LeBlanc is not looking particularly good this game. That's not the first time we've seen him jump in and just completely miss basically all of his skill shots. That's not particularly where you want to be on this LeBlanc. He's only 4 CS down, which is not particularly bad, and it looks like LeBlanc isn't even going to get the blue buff. Fiddlesticks is just taking that for himself. Right now, it looks like Flame Guard and Robo from mid lane is coming up to try and kill Shovel Fury. This might be a little risky for... ooh, and it looks like Shovel Fury got the first blood. Flame Guard needs to get out of here because it looks like they might go for the double kill. Flame Guard, oh, he goes into the Lavalets, and this should be an easy pickup. 2-0 for the University of Wyoming. Papa Francesco getting on the board with that. Not really sure what Robo was trying to do right there. It looked like he was trying to head off the Urgot, but with such a low HP bar just based on the Vel'Koz, there's really not much he can do if Urgot just decides to point blank just throw everything into him, including the ult, which he did. And that ult was basically what killed Flame Guard on this team as well, because he got the fear from the ult and the kill onto Zac, and that meant that Zac was not able to get out of it. Mom Gangply is playing super aggressive in this lane. I'm not really sure if UNM had vision of the Fiddlesticks. It looked like he was trying to go for a gank right there in the top lane. But Mom Gangply is playing super aggressively, almost baiting to see if UNM bot lane will play disrespectful in this game. So some pretty good... Oh, what's going on right here? Fiddlesticks is doing 2 camps at once, including the enemy blue buff. Let's see. Nope, he just smites it away. And UNM does not get it, but it looks like Palm Goat's going down. Can he get the ult? Oh, that was so good for Mom Gangply's going in to stop the ult, but it looks like... And almost ults traded, almost a return from Palm Goat onto Fallen Lotus, but Magical Boop was able to get the devour. But right now it looks like 2-man going in on the mid lane. Witchell getting a Fiddlesticks ult and right into the fear. Makes it really easy for LeBlanc to set up the damage, and Robo going down as well. That's an almost 3,000 gold lead for Wyoming Esports. This is not looking particularly good from UNM Esports. We did pick the more scaling comp, but you know, if we get too far behind, especially if it looks like Fiddlesticks is doing this dragon, if they get that Infernal, that's pretty bad news for the side of UNM Esports. Looks like Zac's going in, just trying to push Fiddlesticks off of this, but he might have picked off more than he can chew. Yeah, Zac goes down for almost nothing. That looks like Magical Poop is going to die for this as well. This is just some pretty sloppy team play from the side of UNM Esports and just giving it over to Palm Ghost. That's definitely not what we wanted to see. You could have played that one better. And it looks like the bot side of the map are just going poorly for the side of UNM Esports. And Brooks sent his... Brando sent his stopwatch early, and instead of using that reactively for the Urgot's ult, he almost went down there, but the Urgot mistimed his ult, and the Vladimir was able to get out of that for free. Going down 0-5, and this is now a 4,500 gold lead. This is just not where UNM Esports wants to be. Looks like Fiddlesticks is going to be trying, or it looks like UNM is going to be trying to engage us onto the bot lane in a 3v3, but I'm not entirely sure how much of that is going to happen. And meanwhile, all of this is going down on the bot side. Top lane is also skirmishing. It looks like neither of them have either ults, and Brooks has both flash and teleport. Both have flash, but it looks like this is just going to be damage down onto the top lane tower on the side of University of New Mexico. Urgot is now currently 8 CS up, which is almost a wave. Actually, that's more than a wave, including a cannon on this. I'm not really sure why Vladimir just teleported onto that minion. It would have been much safer to teleport onto a tower, but and tower platings are going down on a lot on this side of UNM Esports, but luckily their bot lane was able to trade 2 on this bot lane. So if we look across the map, currently at 12 minutes, turret plating will fall in another 2 minutes. It's all lanes for Wyoming were able to get 2 plates, and it looks like only 2 were able to be traded on the bot lane. It looks like on the side of UNM, or on the side of Wyoming Esports, in this bot lane, there's a support versus support and AD carry versus AD carry matchup, and it looks like the AD carry on Wyoming Esports was able to get a better of that trade. I don't know if that was because Jinx was out of mana, but Ezreal was just landing Qs and Es out of nowhere, and just being able to get more damage onto the Jinx. Looks like Witchell over the wall again. Robo going down for the second time. Witchell picking that one up for the side of Wyoming Esports, not giving that one over to LeBlanc. It looks like this should be an easy first tower on the side of Wyoming Esports. Magical Poop could have taken his ult over, but they decided against that. And pretty easy tower going on over to the side of Wyoming Esports. It looks like, I'm not entirely certain why Zach is running away from that. He should have been able to easily push that Fiddlesticks off of the Rift Herald, but it looks like because both mid and top were back in base for the side of University of New Mexico, just really bad back timings on this team. Mid and top were able to collapse basically with no response on the side of University of New Mexico. And that just gives a free in Rift Herald on the side of Wyoming. Sorry, this is actually quite difficult to solo cast the game. It looks like Fiddlesticks is just going to immediately summon that Rift Herald on the top side, and they're going to at least get the charge off on this first tower, probably making that a 2-tower lead. Yep, that's a 2-tower lead on the side of Wyoming, and while Brandos is in the pool, they're now going in on Zach. Looks like Brandos getting killed, Witchell burning down. And finally, UNM Esports on the board. Shovel Fury might also die in this 4v1 situation. Zach getting 2 kills instead of trading that one over to his AD carry, who was right there. Well, I'm not entirely certain if that was the correct call. Getting 2 onto the board quickly is definitely something that UNM Esports needed to do. Being 7,000 down at 14 minutes is not where you want to be. And it looks like Zach is going to be taking up this blue buff instead of giving it over to his mid lane. This is something we had been working on, and Tim, our jungler, is just straight out refusing to give his mid laners blue buff. Luckily, on the side of University of New Mexico, it looks like they were able to, on that 2 for, I believe it was 1 trade in that top lane skirmish, shrink that gold lead down to only about 6,500, down from its 7,000. But this is still not the situation that UNM Esports wants to be in. they want, or while we did pick the scale and comp, and Jinx will be able to basically 1v5 at the 30-minute mark, if we don't make it to the 30-minute mark, I don't know, like, Jinx is just going to be useless. And while we might have to reconsider our drafting strategy for this next game, we decided that we wanted to give Palm Goat his... Oh, looks like Rob's getting ganked in this mid lane. Maybe if this is the actual one. Oh, so close. Is Papa Francesco going to go down? And the tongue lash out of Magical Poop, able to get the kill. And it looks like it should be an easy 2-for-0 or 2v1 fake onto Magical or Mom Gank Please as well. Giving one over to Jinx is definitely going to make her life a lot easier. If we look at item builds, what, I think it's X? Yes. 1300, she's getting pretty close to being able to finish that first item IE, which is what you're striving for on Jinx. So with that, she should be able to start dishing out a pretty decent amount of damage. I don't know if she'll be able to start matching the Ezreal for damage that he's dealing, and it looks like right now disengage is happening on both sides with the missed Zac ult. Looks like Shovel Furry is wanting to re-engage right here, but I'm not sure if they actually want this 2v or this 3v4 fight. And as Robo has respawned and this dragon is coming up, I'm pretty sure UNM Esports should just be giving this up. With the 6,000 gold lead and most of the front line on UNM Esports being pretty low. Looks like Zac's running out of the screen as Alistar going in, giving the kill over to, and getting Rob killed. Looks like Urgot's going to be ulting and getting the kill onto Magical Poop. Looks like Brandos is going to be going down on the Urgot as well. Pomgo just barely able to snipe that out, stealing it from the LeBlanc with the mystical strike, and it looks like there is basically nothing that UNM Esports can do at this exact moment. I don't know what they're doing right now. Why were they right there? They should have just given it up, and Zac was flying across the screen as Alistar was going in. What is going on? UNM is just in complete disarray right now. 3 turrets to 0, and it looks like that might go to a 5 turrets to 0 right now, unless UNM's able to stop them. Looks like Zac coming in right now. Looks like Shovel Fury might be locked up and knocked down, but he's able to get out because they don't have enough damage. Vel'Koz is using his ult, I believe, for the first time in this game. Looks like Mom Gank Please going in, getting stopped up by the chompers from Jinx, and it looks like Flame Guard going down, going into his Blobolus. Mom Gank Please going so low. Looks like Flame Guard is going to be taken out by Papa Francisco, and in a 1-for-0 with most of UNM Esports just limping away. This is becoming really bad on the side of UNM Esports. Basically, they just weren't able to take out Shovel Furry before he was able to just walk out. While that was going on, the bot lane tower went down, so this is now a 4-0 tower lead. That was actually really good Devour right there onto Robo. 0-5-2, not what you're wanting to see on the Vel'Koz. And part of that was just the enemy team, the Wyoming Esports, had more priority on mid than the UNM Esports squad. I don't think I saw Zac go mid once this entire game where Witchell was willing to use his Fiddlesticks ult onto this mid lane at least twice, guaranteeing a kill for him once and guaranteeing a kill onto LeBlanc once as well. Some good news for the University of New Mexico. It's only a 9,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. That's not... no, that's pretty bad. Good news. Jinx has Infinity Edge. Vladimir has his first item. We're going to ignore that Urgot has 2 items versus the 1 item Vlad. I mean, UNM Esports scales, so if Wyoming just messes this up super hard, which it doesn't look like they're going to be, I mean, they should be able to. Or maybe if Papa Francisco over the wall, missing his chains for like the 8th time this game. It's pretty sad to watch. It looks like Flame Bellegarde getting huge chunked out of Palmgo right here. And it looks like LeBlanc's just going over the wall and poking out, and with Palmgo just playing super aggressively, hitting those Qs with pinpoint precision. It looks like UNM Esports is going to be wanting to take away at least one of these carries, either the Fiddlesticks or the Ezreal in Game 2. With Wyoming Esports starting up the Baron 21 minutes, this is not looking particularly good for UNM Esports. There is vision on it now, and this Baron is not going down particularly quickly, but it doesn't look like UNM Esports is going in particularly quickly to stop them either. Papa Francesco going in, almost one-shotting Robo, and with 3,500 onto the Baron, but Flame Bellegarde going in. But it looks like Fallen Lotus is just going to be killed. Robo almost killed by the mystical shot out of Palmgo, but he instead just gets sniped from the Papa Francisco, just double shifting in and getting the kill. Shovel Fury just going to be cleaning up Magical Poop, and the only one left on this map is Brandos, but it looks like he might even go down to Papa Francisco, trading ults right there. But Palmgo is also into this fray. Brandos Brooks looking like he's just going to be getting, or he might get out depending on if this cone works. Krugs, please don't be on the side of Wyoming Esports. Is Brandos going to be getting out? Probably not, because, yep, and there it goes. Ezreal just shifting in. Easy Q right to his face. This is currently a 1,400 gold lead. 4 to 17, 5 turrets, 0. That was a really good ult over the wall by Witchell, but the Devour out of Tom Kench able to save Robo from that kill. Mom Gang please using both his flash and his ult in that fight. Palmgo also having to use his heal. Maybe on these timers, UNM Esports will be able to get something out of it. It looks like even though Wyoming Esports have Baron, it looks like they're going to be abandoning their siege and instead going for the Infernal Dragon. Not entirely certain why they're doing that. I think they could have just kept sieging and pretty easily cleared out this game, but it looks like they're just going to stall. And I mean, that's good for UNM Esports. The longer this game goes, the stronger Jinx is going to get, and the stronger Vladimir is going to get, and the possibility of a comeback increases. But at the same time, I'm not entirely certain why Wyoming Esports is just not ending this game. Excuse me, I need to take a drink. But that's even worse on the side of UNM Esports as well, because the 2 Infernal Dragons on the side of Wyoming is going to give them additional scaling pressure come the mid lane, or come the mid game, or come the late game. Sorry, words are hard. Basically, the only person on the side of Wyoming that does not have a shutdown gold on him is this Alistar. And at 0-1 and 10, he's probably getting pretty close to getting that 450 shutdown gold that I've even seen some supports do. Not entirely certain why Wyoming Esports is currently opting for the 5-man ARAM. I think they would be better suited. It looks like Witchell's going in on both Rob and Brandos, not really able to getting anything out. Witchell being forced to use his, and the shutdown gold onto Fiddlesticks. It looks like Mom Gang please going down as well, going in a front to back in a 3-for-1, and it looks like almost no one on the side of UNM Esports going down. Brandos using his teleport to save his teammate Flame Bellegarde, and in a 2-for-0, it looks like UNM Esports was getting the better of that fight, but Wyoming was still able to get both the tower and the inhib, and part of that was just because Witchell was unable to get anything good with his ult. But UNM Esports looking a little bit brighter for them, even though they only lost that one inhib. With the team, with Wyoming as far up as they were, and with Baron, that's not actually that bad of a trade. While the gold lead did not shrink, I believe Jinx wasn't able to get any of that shutdown gold onto her. I don't actually know who killed who, but I think Tom Kench maybe killed someone. We can look at that later. But it looks like Fiddlesticks was shut down, and with a pretty substantial shutdown gold on him, I want to say it was 600, going on to a member of the University of New Mexico. That's a pretty significant amount of shutdown gold to go over. While it wasn't the Ezreal, which would have been pretty good, it was still something. Looks like Brooks looking for a cheeky bush play here onto Papa Francesco. I don't really know what Vladimir is going to do onto a LeBlanc. Yeah, he just shifted twice and got out. So that's not much. But as we can see, there's still a little bit of fight in this UNM Esports squad. Flame Belgard trying to take his woes, but even that being denied from him. But basically, if we go back to that Baron play, what Wyoming Esports should have done is there's still this tier 2 in the top side that they're trying to siege down now without Baron. If they sent LeBlanc or Urgot to split push that down, and then tried to do the 4v4, sending Urgot into the Vladimir, Wyoming's 4-man is significantly stronger than UNM's 4-man, and I think even their 1-man would be stronger. So I'm not entirely certain why they elected into the 5v5 fight. It might just be because Fiddlesticks is awful in not 5v5 fights, so that might be an issue, and they were trying to get that cheeky over the base wall ult out of Fiddlesticks. But I'm not entirely certain if that was actually worth it. And I haven't been actually paying attention to minion scores, but it shouldn't be too much longer that it looks like the Fiddlesticks is actually going to Flame Horizon, Flame Belgard, which is super oof for the side of UNM Esports. And while part of that is he's Zach, and he also has been pushed out of his jungle the entire game, so this is basically what I wanted to see from Wyoming Esports. But it looks like Palm Goat, Flame Belgard was just immediately, I don't know if he just face-checked wrong, but he was definitely not the person that should be face-checking. And if he was, Magical Poop was just not in a position to devour. I'm not entirely certain what was going on there. Urgot's still split pushing bottom as this 3-man from Wyoming Esports is doing Baron. Papa Francisco trying to herald some of these minions in. Looks like Papa Francisco trying to go onto Jinx, but not much is going on. I don't think UNM Esports knows that this Baron is going down, but they will shortly. Looks like Urgot's going to be soloing this third Infernal Dragon down, and there's really not much that UNM Esports can do at this point in the game. They are, what is that, 16,000 gold down, 13,000 gold down against triple Infernal and Baron. If we just quick look at these, that's not, one of these buttons is Vision Score. V, there, haha. If we just look at the vision that UNM Esports has, this map is dark, but if we look at the vision that Wyoming has, they have an aggressive pink in both sides of the UNM jungle. And most likely that's only two because the other 2 pinks were used to make sure that they had full control of the vision at the Baron they just got. Now it looks like Wyoming Esports is just going to 5-man try and get this bot lane inhibitor, which they should be able to easily do with even just this wave based on how low that turret is. I'm not really sure if they want to do this, want to pressure super hard, because Shovel Fury is not with them. Yep, but this tower's just gone with a 7-0 tower lead. Feels bad, man. Flame Guard going in, but it looks like LeBlanc nearly just killed both Brandos and Fallen Lotus, but Fallen Lotus is going down to Palm Goat. It looks like this should be the end for UNM Esports. The snipe out of Palm Goat is just too strong. And it looks like we'll be heading into Game 2. Right? Oh, but Flame Guard going in with the ult coming out of Robo. It looks like Robo might be getting a trade kill, but no, Palm Goat picking up both the Vladimir and it should be the Zac as well. Yep, Zac going down to Palm Goat. 9-0-4 on this Ezreal. He can do no wrong this game. Looks like he might even snipe out Robo as well. But nope, Magical Poop is body blocking, and so close. Play for the KDA, guys. Don't let him get that. But it looks like with Fallen Lotus coming up, they might be able to get an even stronger Baron or base siege. We know Fallen Lotus just knocked down and picked up by Palm Goat. 10-0-4 on this Ezreal. Absolutely disgusting performance out of him, and it looks like they want to pad the stacks even more in UWYO.